Happy Wednesday. Hopefully everyone's having an awesome week so far, or an awesome day. I am joined by my dog, and no, I'm not going to show him because I don't have a webcam. Sorry. But anyways, we're going to talk about Russia and the attack of the drones. This is from, we have a news from the Reuters. U.S. condemns war crimes after Russia drone attack hits Kyiv apartment block. From my understanding, it's Iranian drones. I mean, why use your own when you can purchase Iranians? Supposedly they're suicide bombers, even though drones can't really commit suicide. From my understanding is of it, the United States will hold Russia accountable for war crimes, the White House said on Monday's hours after Russia attacked Ukrainian cities with drones during morning rush hour, killing at least 4 people in an apartment building in Kyiv. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky in his morning evening video address said there has been more attacks. Right now, the new Russia drone attack, there are drones that have been shot down. The Interfax Ukrainian news agency said Telegram users have reported blasts in the town of Vyestiv, just outside of Kyiv, as well as the southern port of Odessa. Russian forces are also targeting infrastructures across Ukraine in the second wave of airstrikes in a week, like the first coming in the morning with people going to work and school. I mean, it's a war zone. What do you expect? Ukrainian soldiers fired into the air trying to shoot down the drones after blasts rocked the capital of Kyiv on the Monday morning. An anti-aircraft rocket could be seen streaking into the morning sky, following an explosion in orange flames as residents race for shelter. U.S. President Joe Biden Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre told reporters that the White House strongly condemns Russian missile strikes today and said that the attacks continue to demonstrate Russia President Vladimir Putin's brutality. You know, kind of like how he blew up a Afghan family in retaliation of Taliban blowing up people outside the airport. You know, that type of brutality. How many countless people have we killed in weddings in the Middle East using our drone technology? Where's the cry for war crimes against the United States? Oh, it's only okay if we do it. Is that the hypocrisy speaking? I mean, I'm not saying what Russia's doing is good. I'm just saying if we're going to call out Russia for war crimes, what about the war crimes the United States committed as a United States citizen? I would like to know that my country is above approach. Meaning above approach means that we do everything by the book. And I don't think we're doing everything by the book. And I don't think we are above approach in that standby. So anything that we're blaming Putin for doing, we've done it in spades. Mentioning a new 725 million military aid packages announced for Ukraine last Friday. She said, "We will continue to stand with the people of Ukraine as long as it takes." At what cost? At the cost of high inflation? Cost of World War III? Well, what's going to be the cost that's going to be too much? We will continue to impose costs on Russia, hold them accountable for its war crimes. Pregnant woman was among 4 people killed in the attack of the residential building. Kyiv Mayor Vitaly Klitschko, I don't even know. I tried. Said Ukraine's Interior Minister Denis Mostrowski, another word I can't pronounce, or another name I can't pronounce, said there has been deaths in other cities, but did not provide a full toll. It's war. People die in war. I'm not over here going to defend Putin's actions, but war is hell. War is something to be avoided at all costs because of actions like this. People die. People get maimed. There's the mental hurt that happens in war. You see your brothers and sisters in arms get blown up and you got survivor's guilt. This is why I blame Biden and NATO for allowing this to happen. All they had to do was to listen to Russia's security concerns and try to address them. Instead, they just thumbed their nose at him and says that they were unfounded and provoked Putin. I mean, this is what happens when leaders cannot get along, when leaders cannot achieve peace. The people of both countries have to suffer, whether it's the soldiers for Russia, whether it's the citizens of Ukraine. They have to suffer because leaders cannot get along. It's frustrating, don't get me wrong, it's frustrating. Black smoke poured out of the windows of Kyiv's apartment building, and emergency service workers told and doused in flames. I've never been afraid. It's murder. It's simply murder, said Viliady Grutsky, 29, a food delivery courier who rent an apartment in the building. It is not murder, it's war. Your leader decides that he can't make peace with Putin and declared peace out of the picture until Putin is no longer leader. This is much on Zelensky as it is on Putin, as it is on NATO, as on Biden. His flatmate, who gave his name only as Nazar, said that they tried to leave only to find the staircase all gone. Nearby, Alina Mazar, 52, was searching for her mother, who had managed to call her to say that she was buried under the rubble. She's not picking up the phone, Mazar said, hoping her mother's been rescued and taken to the hospital. I mean, it's sad. This is war. I mean, I'm not trying to excuse it, saying this just because it's war, that evil things could happen, but it's war. Ukraine is in a state of war caused by world leaders not getting along. I honestly think this is a proxy war between NATO and Russia, or United States and Russia. Unfortunately, the people of Ukraine have to worry about being bombed because their leaders can't get along with Putin. I'm not saying it's just all on Ukraine. Most of the blame goes on to Putin, but he's not going to do this just because he wants more land. He has an obligation to protect his border. Now, some say that he's not protecting his border. This is just a land grab for the resources. But Zelensky says there will be no peace if Putin is still president of Russia. I mean, that speaks volumes. I did a video not too long ago with him saying those exact words. Ukraine says the attacks were carried out by Iranian-made suicide drones which fly to their targets and detonate. The United States, Britain, and France agree that Iran supplying the drones to Russia would violate a UN Security Council resolution that endorsed in 2015 a nuclear deal between Iran and 6 powers. Iran on Monday stuck to its denial that supplying the drones to Russia, while Kremlin has not commented. I mean, why would they comment? The White House accused Iran of lying when it says Iranian drones were not being used by Russia in Ukraine. As for comments, the Iranian mission to the United Nations repeat the statement issued by the government on Friday, said that it supports upholding the UN Charter and the UN attempts to find a peaceful solution to the conflict in Ukraine. Several EU foreign ministers on Monday called for sanctions against Iran over the transfer of drones to Russia. Russia Defense Ministry said it had carried out a massive attack on military targets and energy infrastructure across Ukraine using high precision weapons. Now, there could be a possibility that the government of Ukraine bought those drones from Iranians. I mean, who is to benefit most by these drone attacks? That'd be Ukrainians, or the Ukrainian government. Because if they could get these drones, now this is just a theory, it's not factual by any stretch of the imagination, unless it turns out to be true. Let's say the government of Ukraine targeted its own people to blame Russia, starting off a World War III scenario, to where all arms are on deck as we go to war against Russia, a NATO alliance war with Russia. What if Ukraine were to do something something underhanded like this. It's not the first time a country attacked its own people to create a bigger war. It won't be the last time either. Russian Defense Ministry said we read that. Reuters saw a piece of the drone and used an attack. Bore the words for Belgorod, an apparent reference to the Ukrainian shelling of the Russia border region. This is already a tradition to wake Ukrainians with missiles on Monday, said Valyo Velashko, a 40-year-old lawyer who took shelter in a basement in her apartment block. The Ukrainian military says destroyed 37 Russian drones since Sunday evening, or around 85% of those used in attacks. Routers were not able to independently verify that tally. I mean, there's also that issue. I mean, in the chaos, it's hard to verify facts. Russia denies targeting civilians in what it calls a special military operation in Ukraine, launched on February 24th, including the biggest annexation of territory in Europe since World War II. Russia fighter crash. In Russia itself, a Russian fighter plane crashed into a residential building in the southern city of Yezhky, engulfing apartments in flames. The regional governor said at least 4 people were killed. Oh, that's sad. According to the Interfax, the RIA news agency said that the crash took place during a training flight, to quote the defense ministry, saying the pilots who ejected had reported an engine caught fire on takeoff and that the plane's fuel had ignited when it struck the building. Russia State Investigation Committee said it has opened a criminal case. Yezhky says it's separate from the occupied territory of Russia in southern Ukraine by a narrow stretch, the Sea of Azov. Elsewhere, Russia shelling near yet another nuclear plant, Zapor. We're just going to call it Zapo. Nuclear plant, Europe's largest, caused to be disconnected again from the Ukrainian power grid. Ukrainian state emergency firm Energoatom said it was soon connected to a backup system. The International Atomic Energy Agency, AEA, said the plant, which has been shelled during the war, is occupied by Russian forces but operated by Ukrainian staff. The reactor need power to keep the fuel inside cool to prevent a meltdown. Russia has long blamed Kyiv for the shelling at the plant. So it's occupied by Russia, managed by Ukrainians. So why would Russia bomb the nuclear plant? I'm just asking. These are serious questions. Why would Russia bomb its nuclear plant that's under control? Moscow and Kyiv on Monday, meanwhile, carried out one of the biggest prisoner swaps of the war so far, exchanging a total of 218 detainees, including 108 Ukrainian women, officials from both sides said. So it looks like the war is going to continue on. Unfortunately, Zelensky made peace almost impossible, saying that in order for there to be peace, there has to be no Putin in charge. He's calling on the people of Russia to remove Putin from power and once that happens, then there will be no peace. Now, my question is, let's say Zelensky, with the help of the United States and Europe aid being funneled into him, pushes them to the border of Ukraine. Would Ukraine stop at the border, or would they continue pushing inwards into Russia? And then at that point, does that become an illegal invasion? Or is it an eye for an eye scenario? I'm just leaving that pondering. I don't think there's any good guys in this fight, unfortunately. I don't think Putin's necessarily a good person. He's not the bad guy that people make him out to be, but he's definitely not a good person. You got Zelensky, which is definitely not a good person. You have the officials at NATO, which could have prevented this war from happening. Definitely not the good guys. You also have President Biden, who could have spoken to Russia, could have given him assurance But instead, they ignored him, called his security concerns unfounded, without a second thought, pretty much told them to get bent, and Putin attacked. But there are no good guys, and unfortunately, in war, no one really wins. The people in both countries have to suffer, and that's unfortunate. That being said, please like and subscribe this video on any all platforms, or just the platform you're currently watching. Please leave a comment down below on what your thoughts are, but most importantly, have yourself a wonderful day, morning, or evening.